Peace and blessings be upon you. My name is Nasir Khan. I'm the co-founder and director of Muslims in Rail, one of the organizers of today's event. Before I proceed, in the Muslim tradition, we start any event with the recitation of the Holy Quran. So for that, we have a guest who has traveled from Canada. So we thought we might as well request him to do the recitation. So please welcome Sheikh Ibrahim.
Assalamu alaikum, greetings of peace and welcome everybody. Good afternoon to everybody. Thank you for joining us. So I'm just going to recite a passage from the Holy Quran, which is from chapter 2. It's one verse that talks about the holy month of Ramadan, and I'll translate it in English once I finish reciting it. Thank you. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان فمن شهد منكم الشهر فليصمه ومن كان مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر يريد الله بكم اليسر ولا يريد بكم العسر ولتكملوا العدة ولتكبروا الله على ما هداكم ولعلكم تشكرون صدق الله العظيم. The translation: Ramadan is the month in which the Quran began to be revealed as a source of guidance for all people, as clear evidence of the truth and as the standard of right and wrong. So when you see the new moon signaling the start of Ramadan, fast the entire month, though the very ill and those traveling should fast later when it's more convenient to do so. For Allah wishes ease and not hardship. Complete the fast and praise Allah for His guidance so you can learn to be thankful. Surely Allah has spoken the truth. Sorry, I don't have a Canadian accent.
Jazakallah. Thank you very much, Sheikh Ibrahim. Yes, he doesn't have a Canadian accent because he's from Blackburn. Fasting. We always discuss it as it's about food and drink. But I think when you will go through today's journey, you will feel that that is the last thing that we think about when we fast. It's about piety. It's about clarity of our vision. It's actually our personal development program for training for 1 month for the next 11 months. And then this 1 month comes back again. It's about teaching our spirituality, the benefits. It's the food for our soul. So I'm Nasir Khan, co-founder, director of Muslims in Rail for the 24/7 job. My day job is something completely different. Thank you very much for everyone coming here. We started Muslims in Rail for a very, very specific purpose. It was not only to improve equality, diversity, inclusion, but we started with our three strands: to connect, to grow, and to inspire people. And look around this room, how we are connecting each other, how we are growing each other with the knowledge and appreciation of each other's faith, belief, and our practices. And hopefully, through this journey, we will be able to inspire not only us, our colleagues, and the generations to come. So that is a small note on that. I'll be your MC for the day, so you will be hearing me throughout. So I won't bore you just now with everything that I've said. I'm going to continue to drop small snippets And for the next speaker, I'm going to introduce from East London Mosque, Brother Junaid Ahmed, please.
Assalamu alaikum, good evening everyone. Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. We begin in the name of Allah, the most kind, the most merciful. We send our peace and blessings upon the final messenger, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. As the sun sets and we gather to break our fast together, on behalf of the East London Mosque, it is my honor to extend a heartfelt welcome to each and every one of you. For those of you who had the opportunity to go on a tour before coming to this hall, I hope you found the tour insightful and enjoyable. Tonight we come together in the spirit of unity, compassion and solidarity. Ramadan is the holiest month in the Islamic calendar. It is a time of reflection, gratitude and spiritual renewal. It is a time when our souls are nourished, our hearts are humbled, and our bonds with one another are strengthened. The East London Mosque, which incorporates the London Muslim Centre and the Mariam Centre, has a rich history spanning more than a century. It is London's oldest mosque and perhaps the largest and busiest in Western Europe. The East London Mosque stands as a beacon of faith and community in this vibrant city. For decades, it has been a sanctuary for the faithful, a hub for education, and a source of inspiration for people of all backgrounds. Its doors have always been open, welcoming individuals from diverse walks of life, fostering understanding, and promoting dialogue. Our mission is to serve, educate, and inspire. I guess the last one correlates with Muslims in Rail. Beyond the extensive religious, spiritual, and educational provisions, ELM's commitment to community welfare is evident in its extensive social initiatives. These include a food bank, refugee support program, health awareness campaigns.
Quick reminder for the Iftar, brother is to go to the LMC Grand Hall for the Iftar. And the sisters from Mariam Center need to go to the LMC first for all. The Shobayra Mosque ভিতরে আছেন দয়া করে আপনারা LMC Grand Hall চলে যাবেন এবং সিস্টাররা from the Mariam Center have today's parents is changed so you to go to the third floor of the Mariam Center. যে বোনেরা আপনারা Mariam Center দুই তলায় আছেন আপনারা শুধু একতলা উপরে যাবেন তিন তলা ইনশাআল্লাহ আজকে ইফতার হবে জাযাকুমুল্লাহ খাইরান এবং মসজিদের ভিতরে যে সবাইরা আছেন আপনারা একটু চলে যাবেন ইফতারের জন্য আসসালামু আলাইকুম.
Apologies for that. That's a very important announcement, actually. This announcement is calling everyone and directing everyone to where the iftar will be served. At the East London Mosque, we serve iftar for 1,000 people every single day in the basement, in the ground floor hall. Normally, the ladies come up to this hall, so this announcement is redirecting them to another hall where they will be served iftar. But that's a massive arrangement that we do, providing iftar for 1,000 people. That wasn't part of my script, but that interjection allowed us to share that information as well. So I was talking about the health awareness campaigns, environmental initiatives, mental health counselling, reflecting its holistic approach to community service. The mosque is also a hub for interfaith dialogue and cultural exchange, promoting understanding and cooperation amongst London's diverse communities. Regular events such as open days and interfaith gatherings underlines ELM's dedication to building bridges across different cultures and faiths. ELM is not only a place that enriches the spiritual lives of Muslims, but also contributes significantly to social and cultural fabric of London, embodying the spirit of Islam and community solidarity. Tonight, as we gather to break fast together, let us take a moment to reflect on the values that unite us: compassion, generosity, and empathy. In a world that often feels divided, events like these remind us of our shared humanity and the power of coming together in fellowship. As we partake in this blessed meal, let us also remember those who are less fortunate, those who may not have the same privilege as us living in this beautiful capital city. In conclusion, I'd like to thank Hassan, who has been working day and night with his team, everyone in Muslims in Rail, and all the other networks, partners that have been working behind the scene to put this very important initiative together. And we are very honoured to be able to host this event here at the East London Mosque. Once again, I extend my warmest welcome to each and every one of you. May this evening be filled with blessings, joy, and spirit of unity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brother Junaid. That was very, very kind and warm welcome. And in a typical fashion, this is, of course, a working mosque, so you can hear the tannoy going through, like any train station we would hear. Would Inspector Sands? No, we don't want Inspector Sands, right? Anybody but Inspector Sands. How many, could you just raise your quick hand, are from rail background? Fantastic. That's absolutely brilliant. So almost half of the unit, which is brilliant for us, because that was one of the key reasons, as Brother Junaid mentioned, to partner with Muslim Engineers Network, with BIMA, with TFL, of course. We wanted to bring together this wider piece to share our knowledge and inspire others. As majority is rail-based organization, you very much understand there isn't an event which goes without a funder or a sponsor. So I would like to call the CEO of Muslim Aid, Khalid Javed, to please come and say a few words, please.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Come on, guys, that's lame. Seriously, I know you're starving. It's only like 15 minutes to go. But we know the prophetic message. When you give salams, you give something back better. So let's do this again. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And Ramadan Mubarak to everyone here. It's for the second year we have partnered with Muslims in Rail to do this event. And they have come with a consortium of different organizations to put this together. So I think just as a level of appreciation, let's just give them and everyone a huge round of applause for putting this together in such short notice. But they could have spelled my name right. That's one issue there. Next time. Look, we know the problems around the world, and we know the situations that we're all facing. And with Muslims in Rail, what they have done, particularly last year, is multiple initiatives to support humanity, both in the workplaces and both externally, for many, many campaigns they have done. One of them was the fantastic boat race, which we finished 38 out, 39, respectively. So well done, guys. You know. And moving forward from this, we had the Fast Money campaign. And as you can see, there's some QR codes on your tables, which my colleague Yusuf, he'll explain later about them. As has already been mentioned, Ramadan is a month of mercy, is a month of forgiveness, is a month of contemplation, it's a month of reflection. It's a month that we come together. But it's also a month that we think. As we break our fast today, let's think of the millions of people around the world, Palestine being one, and there's multiple countries who have nothing. And that's the reflection and contemplation we have. Muslim Aid, we work in over 72 countries, bringing that beacon of hope, that lifeline to the people who may not have it as well. But we can only do this with your collective support in two ways, be it financially or be it your prayers and be it voluntary as well. The world has gone upside down, but here in the UK as well, we have multiple problems. And last week, Junaid and myself were here, and we distributed meals to local refugees in and around London. People of faith and people of none. And that's something that we really have to understand in Ramadan. It's open to everyone. And we have people of faith in here, from the Islamic faith, and we people of not. And we've come together for one purpose. Be it break bread together, or be it understand different cultural needs. And understand the problems that we all are facing. Every single one of us has a dilemma that we face. Every single one of us will go through a trauma. And every single one of us becomes stronger by coming together. At Muslim Aid, our guidance is simple. We're a faith-based organization. And as the Sheikh mentioned some verses in the Quran, I'll give you just one. And this is in Surah Al-Ma'idah, where God says, whoever saves one, saves the whole of mankind. And that is a principle of Muslim Aid. Regardless of color, creed, nationality, religion, whoever saves one. And that's collectively what we do. Tonight is about some sadaqah jariyah as well, ongoing charity. Muslim Aid has been working for 38 years. As I've mentioned, we're over 70 countries around the world delivering your aid. Last year, we done 132 projects, spending in excess of £20 million. And that is what we do. But as I've said, it can only be done by you guys, with your support. By making that difference, together we can make that change. By making that difference, together we can bring humanity back to where it needs to be. Together we can. Thank you very much.
We were actually 38 out of 46 on the boat race. So, increasing our odds from that perspective. Why the boat race or any other event? Again, we need to think about the body, mind, and soul while we are working almost, 40 hours, 45 hours, depends on where you are working, what you're doing. Such events, such gatherings, our work for charity, it motivates a number of people because everybody has their own cause and concern. And they want to reflect it through such events into doing something better for the community, for which they have a particular soft corner or something to do. So by all means, what I wanted to say is, every year we also celebrate a fast day where we invite our colleagues to fast for something. Lent is going on at the moment. There is a lot of other fasting provisions as well. I was discussing the headline of the Times from this morning about fasting. So what we are asking on the 22nd of March from all of you is, don't have a coffee if you do it regularly. If you take 5 coffees, why don't you do 1 on 22nd? The remaining 4, you can donate it to charity. This charity, any charity. But it's all about you are going to give up something. And that will remind you of the sacrifices that a lot of people in the world go through. And that is a key lesson from fasting that we learn through. Of course, we eat enough throughout the night to balance it out for the rest of the day. But again, it's that patience and that observation that you will learn through that. We have a number of interviews and other elements on our website as well from a number of non-Muslims who have fasted and just experienced it. It's an experience. And again, it's one of those things you experience by experiencing. Everybody can talk to you about, oh, I feel different, I feel this, I feel that. Until you do it, you wouldn't know. On that note, somebody who can tell us how to do it properly in London, I'd like to invite Andy Lord to come and discuss how the TFL keeps going.
Assalamu alaikum. Good evening. Thank you, Nasir. I thought you were going to ask me to explain how to fast, and as you can see, I'm not very good at that. But I look forward to having the opportunity in the future. Thank you to you and colleagues from all the organisations in Junaid for your wonderful volunteers and members of the mosque here for making us so welcome. and inviting me to attend my first Iftar dinner. I'm delighted to be joined by so many TfL colleagues and colleagues from across the rail industry, but especially to be joined by two of our senior leaders, Tricia Wright, one of my fellow chief officers on our executive committee, and Patricia Abina, who's our Director of Diversity and Inclusion, and we really look forward to having the opportunity to talk to many of you this evening. I'd like to extend my thanks to all the organisations who are supporting tonight's event, and in particular Muslims in Rail and the TfL Faith Colleague Network Group, who do such an amazing job for us across TfL. I know what an important and reflective month Ramadan is, so it really is a tremendous honour to be here this evening, and I look forward to speaking to you throughout the evening and learning more about the Muslim faith and breaking fast with you. I consider it a tremendous honour to serve our diverse city as Commissioner of Transport for London. I think it's one of the very best jobs in transport. But the writer Samuel Johnson once said, "By seeing London, I have seen as much of life as the world can show," and he was absolutely spot on. London would not be what it is without the influence and contributions of people and cultures from across all of the world. Our transport network just wouldn't be what it is today without the people who came to the UK and made London their home, particularly in the post-war period, whose work on the tubes and buses and across the transport network helped to rebuild London and make it a better place. This legacy is a huge part of what defines Transport for London today. Diversity is a huge part of TfL's DNA. Today, our organisation represents the rich tapestry of diversity and difference we see across our fantastic capital city, with colleagues from all faiths and all geographies working as part of our team to keep London moving. This diversity shapes our workplace, making TfL reflective of the unique city we serve, and we are proud to do so. Tonight is an example of one of the very best things that I value most about our organisation, having the opportunity to attend events like this, to learn more about our colleagues, about their faiths, cultures and histories. That global connection so many of us have with other countries around the world means that when conflicts happen, it deeply impacts us all. I want to express my sorrow and empathy for what is happening right now in the world, for the loss and suffering that so many are experiencing. I know that a lot of our Muslim colleagues and customers, and many of our colleagues and customers from many different backgrounds, are feeling a deep sense of grief right now. I also know that this is a heightened time of vulnerability and anxiety for Muslim communities. And I want to know that we at TfL are doing everything we can to make our network as safe for everyone as possible. Irrespective of my personal background, I am an ally, and I want you to know that I care deeply for the well-being of all communities in the city I am proud to serve. And I speak on behalf of all of our senior team who have exactly the same view. Listening to members of the TfL Muslim Network was a powerful moment for reflection. My team and I are listening, and we are learning what we need to do more of and what we need to do to be better. Inclusivity, equity, and diversity. These need to be more than just buzzwords. For me, they mean being truly seen, heard, and supported. We know there is more work to be done to create an environment where everyone thrives irrespective of their different backgrounds, lived experiences, and their beliefs. We also need to ensure our transport network is an inclusive environment for our customers, which includes every one of you in this room, that we continue to work hard to ensure everyone feels safe all of the time. Only through these three things, through including and caring for everyone, can we truly flourish. Please do come and find me, Patricia, or Tricia at some point this evening, as we would welcome the opportunity to talk to you. I want to thank you all again for inviting us this evening. It's been truly humbling and amazing to learn and have such an amazing tour of this incredible facility. Shalima, you did an amazing job, I don't know how you did it so quickly and so accurately, but it was a truly fantastic tour. Thank you for the opportunity to learn more about your faith during this very special month and for the chance to share a delicious meal with you all. Thank you very much, and Ramadan Mubarak.
Thank you, Andy, for your reflection and talking about increasing our awareness, because through dialogue is when we improve each other's trajectory. I'll give you an example. This is early 2000s. I was given a rule at work: you can't talk about football, politics, or religion. Anybody familiar with that notion? Now, how do you get to know each other if you can't talk about football? I mean, I know Man U, what a brilliant result, right? And then you need to talk about religion, you need to talk about faith, you need to talk about politics, because if we don't share our views, if we don't open up to one another, we're not transparent. We always talk about high-performing teams. High-performing teams need to trust each other. And that's one of the key benefits of having events like these, because we are opening up to one another. We know each other more than just as work colleagues. We understand each other's wants, needs, and requirements. With that in mind, I'm hoping that we will continue on this journey. And just as a reminder, while we are here in London, a similar event is happening in Glasgow, where ScotRail CEO Alex Hines, unfortunately, Andy Haynes couldn't come because he had an accident to his knee, but a lot of senior leadership from Network Rail and ScotRail are there in Glasgow. This week, we also have Manchester, Birmingham, and over the weekend in Milton Keynes. And the whole purpose is to continue to grow into these cities is, again, to reflect on our experiences and then share the knowledge that we can gain through one another. With that in mind, I am going to look at the time, and I'm going to invite Sheikh Shafiur Rahman, please, to come through and lead the speech. Thank you.
Bismillah walhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I begin in the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful, and peace and blessings on the final messenger, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And I welcome you all with the greetings of peace, with the greetings of Islam. I've been asked to say a short few words just before I'm saved by the adhan, hopefully in the 5-6 minutes. About the purpose of Ramadan or the spiritual aspects of Ramadan. Obviously, there's only so much you can say in a few minutes. But I wanted to focus on one of the verses of the Quran, which is really the headline verse about fasting, about Ramadan. Without going into the whole verse, the verse mentions two important things. The first thing it mentions, it says, O you who have believed, fasting has been prescribed upon you as it was prescribed on those who came before you. So the first thing the Quran says, the fasting is not a new thing. It was ordained, it was prescribed, it was made obligatory on previous nations, previous messengers, previous prophets. And then it continues to say that towards the end of the ayah, that لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, so that you may practice something called taqwa. You can translate it as being aware of God, God consciousness, protection, a shield, a barrier that protects you from harm. All of these words you can put under taqwa. So in essence, the verse is saying, the first thing it's saying is that you are part of a long historical tradition of previous messengers, previous traditions, previous instructions by God to his messengers, and by extension to different communities. And similarly, Islam is not a new religion. Muslim is the one who submits or surrenders. Islam is submission or surrender. Islam sees all peoples of the past as Muslims, if they surrendered to God according to the guidance of whichever messenger, prophet was around at the time, whether it's Jesus, Moses, or Abraham. And obviously they share the same message, which is to worship the one God, which is to really redirect humanity and individuals to their purpose of life, why they were created, what happens after death, etc. The second part of the verse really highlights the purpose of fasting. You know, somebody put a post up the other day. They said Islam sabotages modern life, right? What he meant was, he said, every time the adhan goes, people have to drop everything and go to prayer. So whatever you're doing throughout the day, 5 times a day, the adhan goes and you have to drop everything and go to attend to prayers. What he meant was your daily life is punctuated by a call to remember God, to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In other words, fasting allows you to be aware. We have a 5 times a day prayer, which is the 5 times a day daily reminder. We have a weekly reminder, which is the Friday prayers. And we have a yearly reminder, which is the month of Ramadan. To be aware, to be conscious, to be sensitive, to be alert to our identity, our purpose, which is to surrender and worship God alone. This is the key message of Ramadan. So the way you achieve taqwa, or this God consciousness, awareness, is obviously suppressing our physical needs, food and drink. These are the 2 most powerful desires of the human being. And we suppress that for a greater being, a greater power, something that's more important. The call of the prayer begins with Allahu Akbar. God is not the greatest, but greater as well. So we forego the food and drink. So it allows us this silence, because Sawm, fasting, one of the meanings is to be silent. It allows us to silence the busy lives, our daily diaries, our phone calls, our social media. It allows us to just switch off for a little bit and really reflect and think, what is my purpose? Why am I here? It allows the Muslims to reconnect with God, reconnect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because all day they're in an act of worship. It's easy to remember, easy to recall my true identity. What am I doing here? What's more important? If you can suppress the strongest human desire, which is food and drink, to survive for the sake of God, you can suppress much easier things for the sake of God. So the taqwa is really being aware, waking up, being alert to our own identities, which is as creatures, as creation of God, to worship God and to achieve success in the next world, something which is far more eternal, far more everlasting, far more important according to Muslims. But the second thing about taqwa is that it's transformational. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that Allah is not in need of you giving up your food and drink if you don't give up false speech and acting by it. In other words, it's not simply the routine of giving up food and drink. It must be accompanied by a self-transformation. We must give up those things that are harmful, prohibited, those things that God asked us to give up in terms of false speech, wrong actions, sins, oppressing others, discriminating against others, etc., etc. So the fasting should be transformational. And this is what Islam really focuses on, the transformation of the individual self. As God says, on the day of judgment is such a day that neither wealth or children will benefit anybody except for the one who comes with a sound heart. And fasting, as attested by previous traditions and communities and prophets, is the master program to purify the heart. The problems which were mentioned and referred to earlier on in the world today, the tyranny, the oppression, the genocide, the killings, just destruction of the planet, just the way we've run our economies, the consumption culture, the greed, the disparities between poor and rich. All of this stems from our individual actions, which go back to our individual hearts. What is the condition of our hearts? Ramadan allows us that we take back control of our actions through self-purification, self-control, through patience, through being conscious and aware of God. If every single individual reflected and took a moment to just think before they act, this action of mine, is this fair? Is it just? Is it good? Or is it harmful? Is it wrong? This is what Ramadan is about. It allows us that space to see our actions. It allows us to be awake and conscious, God conscious. All the Muslims you ask, they'll agree. Throughout the day, they're fasting, they feel a connection to God. In the evenings, they're spending hours standing up in prayers. They feel that connection, the awareness to God, day and night through Ramadan. So the real benefit of Ramadan is self-transformation, awareness of God, being fully aware that God is watching, that we're accountable human beings, and that we will, on the Day of Judgment, have to account for our actions. And it's not, as I mentioned, Islam is not a new religion. It's the same religion that was sent to all of the prophets previously. They're all counted as Muslims because they surrender to God and whichever messenger was sent. But it comes with the same message, is to realize our true full potential. Thank you very much.
Greetings, everyone. If I could have your attention for a few moments, please. Thank you. So, my name is Yusuf Kalam. I'm here on behalf of Muslim Aid. I'm the Philanthropy and High Value Partnerships Manager. And again, I'm delighted and thrilled to be here with such esteemed guests and parts of the community. Muslim Aid has been transforming lives for almost 40 years. This will be our 39th year in November. And within that time, we've supported over 50,000 children. That's why I'm proud that Muslims in Rail are partnering with Muslim Aid to support our school program. This initiative is an absolute gem. And in the month of Ramadan, when we know it's a time of giving, a time of charity, we selected this project for the vision, for the aspirations of the Muslims in Rail network. They came to me, and over the past couple of years, they've raised tremendous amounts for emergency campaigns, from building homes to disaster zones, which has been life-saving. But now is the time to create a legacy. And what better legacy is there than the Fast Money campaign to change lives in Sierra Leone? This project will transform the lives of children in the most rural areas. But beyond that, it's about building a connection, building something that is aligned to the values, to the ethos of Muslims in Rail, to align the sentiments and what we have learned. And that's why we're proud as Muslim Aid to provide a unique tailor-made project for Muslims in Rail. The children in Sierra Leone will be able to have vocational training, learning the arts and craft of mechanics, of what it is to work within the industry, within transport. And that's what we're here to fundraise today. And throughout the month of Ramadan and beyond, this whole year is about these children in Sierra Leone. So you have your link on your tables. Feel free to scan the code, find out more information about what we're doing here. This project is zakat applicable, and in the month of Ramadan, when we have to give as well, zakat is an obligatory amount that we need to give. I urge and I encourage people to come forward. We're going to give to many causes. We're going to give to humanitarian projects. I appreciate that. But we also want to give to developmental sustainable projects that will have a lasting legacy, not only on the children that we support, but the infrastructure that we're creating in Sierra Leone. So please do dig deep. Please do donate. And if you have any questions, I'll be here with myself, the CEO, Khalid Javid, and the Muslims in Rail network. So on behalf of Muslim Aid, thank you for coming here today. Thank you, Muslims in Rail, for continuing to support us. And again, most importantly, thank you from the children of Sierra Leone. Thank you.